Tell you what, it's about 9:45. It is a Tuesday night, and I'm live here in Oklahoma City. I'm going to cover the state of Oklahoma, surrounding areas. We're going to talk about a winter storm coming our way. It's actually already underway in Texas, and some that's even creeping back in Oklahoma already. A little ahead of schedule, thanks for some upper-level energy that kind of sneaking in ahead of the main wave that'll come in around the midnight hour. So we're going to talk about that and more. So thanks for joining me. Thanks for telling your friends and family about me. AT's weather, been around for a while. Done this for a minute. So I left the TV business. Man, we're talking, goodness, quite a while ago. Hard to believe. Time flies, like 12 years ago. And so I've been doing AT's weather on the side here for the last 10 years and growing the old social media audience. And man, we're at a point where it's just gotten crazy. So like I mentioned this last night and the other day, I didn't realize this, but I took a look at my metric data for my app, AT's Weather to Go, and my website, AaronTuttleWeather.com. And I usually show like 14 million ads every year on average between those two platforms. So if you're an advertiser or you're wanting to advertise your business, you got a gold mine. So if you're interested, I'm actually got some slots open for sponsorship. So just send me a direct message and I'll get you taken care of. But that's some crazy numbers. You don't get those kind of numbers in a magazine here in the state or in town or even on television. That's just nuts. So anyway, that's some interesting stuff there that I throw that. And then the other thing is, if you're watching your new on my website, you can actually watch my stream there. There's a live tab. And actually, I incorporate the YouTube chat. So those of you folks that are on YouTube and chatting, we can chat on my website as well. It's just kind of cool. And then I pull in the Facebook live stream here too. In the springtime, we're going to have storm chasers, and I'll have live storm chaser feeds. What you're also be interested in here for this time around, though, is the data tab on here. I got a lot of goodies on here. Oklahoma power outages being one of them. Oklahoma road conditions being another. Real-time weather reports as far as what they call the ping network, which means observers that have signed up for this service will report the minute they see something coming out of the sky. And if you look here across central Oklahoma, there's already a bunch of little dots starting to show up. And each of these are color-coded with the menu that shows you what they are. But as soon as a snowflake falls, you're going to see it. You're going to know about it. So this is all on my website, AaronTuttleWeather.com. So thanks for watching on Twitter, which ties into Periscope, YouTube Live, and my Facebook pages. So appreciate you guys doing that for me. All right, well, let's get on to some business, shall we? It's going to get interesting around here. Let me tell you. All right, first things first. So here's a look at the radar view across the state. You can already see the action bubbling up here into northwest Texas, out toward western Texas and Lubbock, so Midland. This is kind of a mixture of snow, which transitions over to kind of a winter mix of some sleet, maybe a touch of freezing rain down here. And this activity is already kind of drifting northward, although kind of falling apart, because this right here is a tail end of a prior shortwave that moved overhead a few hours ago. So that's kind of exiting the state. So this one's going to be kind of diminishing. But this new batch coming in from the south and west will be what we focus on for the remainder of tonight. It'll expand in nature, but you can see the primary trend here is in this path, southwest to northeast. And you see where that arrow lies? That's the key important ingredient here. This is the I-44 corridor. So you often hear me say I-44 corridor. That's where it runs from Tulsa to Oak City back down toward Lawton. So most of the activity with this system is going to be south of this boundary. We talked about that since Sunday, where we're trying to fine-tune where the heaviest precipitation would fall in this and the heaviest snow band. There's been a fly equipment, though, that showed up in the morning model data today. We're going to talk about that tonight, and that means less snow and also means more sleet and a little bit more ice. So we're going to get to those details as well. So hang in there. We got a lot to talk about. I'm going to try to do it as fast as possible, though, believe it or not. I know, right? Is that possible? We'll see. Now here's a look at surface temperatures out there now. This is the freezing line in yellow, stretching into northeast Oklahoma. And this freezing line will continue to kind of move slowly to the south and east of here overnight. So plenty cold enough for freezing precipitation across central and western, southern, northern Oklahoma. So that's not even in the question, right? What about ground temperatures? Well, they're in the lower 40s now. So they've cooled about 10 degrees since Sunday evening, in the 30s out here north and west. So it won't take too long before the precipitation starts. Well, roadways do become a problem. I usually give about an hour, maybe two at the onset. But then as that heavier precipitation continues, it'll overcome any warmth coming in from the ground. And of course, bridges, overpasses will be the first to go. So if you're traveling out tonight, late tonight into tomorrow morning, just be prepared. It's going to be a nasty commute. Nasty roadways are expected. Now here's a look at the timing of this from the National Weather Service. I actually agree with this for the most part. It looks pretty good. They've got the arrival coming into southwestern Oklahoma for this main wave after midnight, roughly, along the border. And that'll kind of continue to work its way on into central Oklahoma rather quickly, actually. We might even be here in central Oklahoma by around 3 o'clock in the morning coming down to beat the band. So this might be a little late because sometimes in the wintertime these systems come in a little earlier than models expect, and sometimes they can come in a few hours earlier. That's not unusual. Now you've heard me talk about sleet, and I know I haven't really explained this in a graphic for you in a while. In my head as a meteorologist, it's perfectly clear, but you're probably going, okay, what's this? What's the difference between snow, sleet, freezing rain? So this is a quick little graph you can see. And what happens is when it's cold at all layers of the atmosphere, it's just snow, as long as it's below freezing. Well, what happens in our case, we've got snow that develops early on, and then it falls into this warm layer of air, very, very shallow layer of air that's just a couple degrees above freezing, and it melts back into rain. All right. Well, the problem is that it falls back into air closer to the ground that's below freezing. You saw the map. We're in the upper 20s already. So that starts to harden those raindrops in the form of sleet, which are little tiny little balls that bounce around and basically accumulate to like icy surfaces. Now, if it was all warm enough and in most of that level, then by the time it freezes on contact, it's already hit the ground, and that's what we call freezing rain. And that's what causes the power outages on the heavy weight on the tree limbs, power lines, that kind of deal. And then, of course, if you're warm enough at all levels, it's just all good old-fashioned rain. Southeast Oklahoma, the southeastern, let's say the fifth of the state, all rain. But once you get a transition from about Fort Smith to Ada, that's where the icy combination comes into play. And as you head up toward the metro, we start transitioning from that into sleet and then into snow. So we're going to get to all that and more. But I want to kind of put that in perspective for you so you can understand how that works out. So this is the high-resolution NAM model I'm actually going to side with for the most of this forecast. Not all of it, but most. I like this output the most for most things. So it shows the activity down here across western Texas blowing up here at the midnight hour. And you can see how it's already, let's step back a little bit. This is 3 o'clock in the morning. Now you see all this purple shading right here on the map. You know what that is? That's sleet. You see the red, that's freezing rain. So that's freezing rain in Ardmore. It's a mixture of freezing rain, sleet, and even a little bit of snow around the Lawton area. This is all in the overnight hours, by the way, while you're all sleeping. If you look at the sounding, I'll just plot the forecast sounding here for this particular point in time here in central Oklahoma. See this little nudge right there? That's that warm layer I showed you in that graphic a minute ago. Doesn't look like much, right? And I'll show it to you on a flat plane here in a second. But what that does is it makes sleet fall instead of snow or freezing rain. And that's with us overnight until about daybreak. Now the models do try to convert it all into snow, and that's what all that blue is on the map. Also Tulsa, you're going to be getting sleet and mixed in, maybe even a touch of freezing rain in your county, especially the south side of Tulsa versus the north side. So you're kind of like Oklahoma City. I put that tweet out earlier today at lunchtime. I'm trying to get very specific. And honestly, what I'm trying to do for you can't be done like Smokey and the Bandit, but I'm going to do it anyway. And then what I'm trying to get as very specific as possible in a science that's not possible. So I'm really stretching things, but I know you guys want the information, so I'm going to try to do my best to give it to you. So what I'm trying to say is, if you use 44 as a dividing line, along that boundary to the east and southeast, you've got more sleet, freezing rain mixed in. If you go north and west of that boundary, you get more snow and less sleet mixed in. So it's going to be kind of a trade-off, and it's going to be a hard line in the sand, too. All right, so this kind of wave starts to move through. This is at 9 o'clock in the morning. There's lunchtime moving out of Tulsa, some residual flurries. Our second wave will kick in and move across the state in the evening hours, mostly across the eastern half of Oklahoma. You could pick up a quick inch with that snow as it moves on by. And that's all she wrote. At midnight, it's pretty much gone. Now, if you're watching me from the Dallas-Fort Worth area, let me back this up a hair. You guys have rain in your forecast, a very cold rain at that. As we head into the morning hours, the closest... earlier, like Tarrant County might get a little bit of a mix of a little bit of rain and sleet, no big deal. but the miles that back that off, one more county to your west. So right now it does not look like you're going to get any of that. However, the secondary batch that comes in late afternoon may just skirt you with some flurries, a light dusting of snow. That's the most I can promise you down there in Dallas. Otherwise, North Texas will get some of that light snow as it moves on through. So that's how things will evolve, the timeline, and that's how things will look when it comes to the atmosphere and all the different precipitation types. So now we're going to get into a transition into the amounts, and this is where things get really, really interesting. All right, the first thing I'm going to do before I get into the snow, because I know it's what you're here for, is I got to talk about the freezing rain problem and the ice accumulations. And this will be ice and sleet. So in other words, it won't be all freezing rain, thank goodness, because this is a full-fledged ice storm in those cases. But you can see in Missouri down to northwestern Arkansas, this extends into northeast Oklahoma to the southern half of Tulsa County. Stretching right along 44 to the south side of Oklahoma County, which includes Moore and Norman, back in it just around Newcastle, back down to the east side of Lawton. So that is the ice line. That's where you get all that sleet that'll be piling up on the roadways. And amounts can be anywhere from a quarter. I've seen it as high as half an inch to maybe even 3/4 of an inch of sleet along this boundary. And anywhere in here, the models are all over the place. Pick your poison as far as your location. If I put the cursor on here, some of you might be able to see it if you're piping this on your big screen at home on your big 80-inch flat screen TV. Listen, I found out today you can get a 4K TV for $500. That's like 60 inches. It's crazy. TV prices are so cheap now, but I'm going to stick with my old ones until they die because that's just the way I am. But anyway, that's a total side topic. Don't know how I got on that. Anyway, we're close to almost 0.8 to an inch combination here in south central Oklahoma where the hardest hit ice and the sleet accumulations are going to be. Now you can see also how narrow this is. That's another problem with this forecast. We're talking narrow bands of activity here. But with this, we're maybe 50 miles wide, maybe 60 miles, something like that, once you draw the line right down the middle. And split it in half on either side of this line. So about Ada. So we're looking about Fort Smith to, we'll get that off of there. We're looking at about, let's see, this is a Fort Smith area to about McAllister to about Ada to Ardmore. That would be the southern end of the line. So the model's got a few hints of maybe little pockets of ice in here, but I think for the most part this will be all rain. And then of course it stands out west of Dallas into the hill country down there in Texas. All right, so that is a look at the ice, which is important. That's going to be your power outage issue. All right, so that's why I got to bring that up. Nobody likes ice. You can't travel on it. You can't deal with it. It's just going to be a mess. All right, now let's go into the snow because I know most of you are just, that's all you care about. So this is that same model. Now remember, I showed you the warm temperatures right around, let's see, let's do this for you. This is the warm nose here on this sounding. I love Buffkit, by the way. It's a weather guru's dream. About 4,000 feet, we're 2.1 degrees Celsius. You're going, Aaron, that's just fantastic. What does that do for me? Well, it produces sleet and maybe some freezing rain. You can see right here in the box, it'll tell you what the precip type is, and it's right on the boundary of freezing rain and sleet. So this is at 3 o'clock in the morning for the Oklahoma City and Norman area. So that's what I'm saying. The onset of precipitation is going to be dealing with that mixed bag. And if you look at it down on the surface map, this is a slice of that layer of 4,000 feet, for example. And I'm going to show you a couple of these numbers. So Tulsa, you're at 1 plus 1 degrees, plus 3 on the south side of town. Right now, Oklahoma County, this is around the midnight hour. We're at anywhere from -2 to -4. Norman's right around 0. But every hour it changes, and that little freezing line wavers back and forth. So this little warm spot right here wiggles, and every hour it wiggles. So try to be a forecaster and telling you exactly what hour it's going to wiggle here, and you're going to get this precip type, and then the next hour it's going to wiggle here, and then you're going to change over to this type. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I have to show you this stuff just so you know what goes on behind the scenes of forecasting the weather, because some of you think it's easy. Ain't no news for you. It ain't easy, but it's very challenging. All right, so here's a look at, let's see, there's 3 o'clock in the morning right here. We're 1 degree in Oklahoma County, 0 in Norman. That's a mixture of sleet, a little bit of freezing rain. Let's see, so we head on into the, 5, 6, let's go 6 o'clock time frame. We finally cool down, 6 a.m., to around -4 to -5 degrees. That's cold enough for snow. So you will get some snow mixed in with this after a few hours of the sleet and a little bit of the freezing rain. Supposed to be mostly a sleet storm here for the I-44 corridor in the early morning hours. And if you really look throughout the day, that line kind of meanders in the same spot for a while through noontime. So Tulsa, you're in the same boat Oklahoma City is. North and west sides, better opportunity for more snow. South and southeast side, more sleet. Same thing here in Oklahoma City. So that we're both locked into the same type of pattern. A lot you're a little on the colder side, so other than a brief bout in the morning, early you should have mostly snow. So speaking of snow, let's get to it. This is the high resolution ensemble output of several different members that we use, and I'm just showing you this is one of the most exciting snowfall totals here in Oklahoma City. This got up to 6 inches. The problem is I don't buy it. Sorry. But I did want to show it to you just to show you that there are some models you can look at, even ensembles that can paint a better picture for you. And there's a big spread. Spread here is from 2.5 inches to even 8 inches, which is what we call outliers. I throw those out, by the way. All right, now here's a look at these forecasts from the National Weather Service. Now the key word here that they've got on this map, most of you are going to miss, is they snuck this in here, is sleet. Snow, sleet forecast. So what happens is this number here, 6 to 8, is not going to happen. There's too much sleet contamination that extends all up here in Tulsa. So I think you can take that out of the forecast. Even the 4 to 6, because of the sleet contamination, I would drop it more likely closer to the 2 to 4 for Oklahoma City. So we're still getting snow, it's just not as much snow because of the sleet accumulation. The European model usually does pretty good with this. Oh, que sera, sera. It's got 4 inches in Tulsa, 4 inches south Oklahoma City, but it's got 2 inches in Edmond. So a big gradient from north to south across Oklahoma County, and even out here in El Reno, it's only got about an inch, but it quickly goes to 2 inches once you hit South Canadian County. But Norman has got around 5 inches of snow. But again, I think this model is overdoing it because it's not taking into account enough of the sleet. Same thing with this big purple shading. I don't think that's going to happen either. So the European, sorry, I got to throw it out. All right, now what does that leave us with? All right, well, let's take a look at a round robin of all the models here just to give you an idea of what each one says for snow. Now, what to take home is going to be how the amounts are dramatically lesser in most cases than what was originally forecast for both Oklahoma and Tulsa counties. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to ignore these purple shadings down here. Why? That's in the ice zone. They can't tell the difference between the ice and the snow. So we're going to throw that out. All right, so completely ignore that. Where you're focused on is along the I-44 corridor and points north and west. So you can see 1 to 2 inches easy out here in western parts of Oklahoma, northern Oklahoma, up to 3 inches, and maybe in some spots, no big deal. As we flip through models, though, you can see the amounts are going to vary. And some of them aren't all that great. Also keep in mind, the original first layer of inch of snow is going to melt. So that's going to be going in just to the warmer temperatures at the ground level. And then what's after that will stick. So we've got, let's see, there's 2, 2.5. Now I'm going to ignore the one in Tulsa. This one's got 1.5 here in Oklahoma City. Some lighter amounts scattered around. The NAM model, this is just goofy. I'm just not even going to talk about it. The high resolution of its brother is a little bit better on the placement of stuff, but it's also goofy on the pockets because it's got 8 inches of snow in Norman, which is not going to happen because I just showed you that sounding, which has sleet for the majority of the event, so that can't happen. So, like I said, sometimes these guys are out to lunch, so you have to know how to differentiate reality from fantasy. And then we've got the Canadian model finally. Now the Canadian model, which is funny, was one of the more bullish models and is now at the final hour has so backed off so much it's really sad and pathetic. Just a dusting of snow, an inch or so here in northern Oklahoma, 2 inches in the metro, 2 inches in Tulsa, except from the south side of town you might get a little bit more. But again, it's got to fight that region of sleet. So the take home in all of this is that amounts aren't going to be as high as maybe what you're hoping for, but there's still going to be enough to where you can play in. Kids should be happy. You'll be off school. Many of you might even be off work. Here's a look at the ensemble mean, which I kind of like as an overall big picture. So forecast-wise, this is pretty much as good as it can get at this point in time. The blue shading, the darkest blue, it's about 4 inches of snow. All right, so these little pockets of blue, all in here, and these little pockets here, this is all 4 inches of snow. Everywhere else from that is 2 to 4. So this would be my forecast officially. I like this the best of everything I've seen, and it takes into account a lot of the ice and the sleet. And you can notice, unlike all those other models, it doesn't have all that goofy 7, 8 inch snowfall totals down here. If anyone's showing that stuff doesn't know what they're doing because they don't know how to interpret the model data. But so that's just going to be an icy mess down there, and then we'll have the snow here in central Oklahoma. It's going to be a good winter storm regardless. So I wouldn't get lost in the minutia of how much exactly fell. The bottom line is we're all going to get it over a large area of the state, again with the exception of the far southeast, the far northwest. You guys got just a little bit of a taste, but this time around, no foot of snow up there for you guys in Woodward and Panhandle. You're going to share it with the rest of us for once. And that extends on into Missouri if you're watching southeast Kansas. And again, nothing really significant for Dallas. Some flurries, maybe in the late afternoon, early evening for tomorrow. It's about it for you. Otherwise, some rain in the morning. Whew. How long did I go? That was like 15 solid minutes. Good grief. I try to do it short, man. I really do. I promise. I really try. All right, I covered the timing, covered the ice, covered the snow, covered the amounts. I think that was all I wanted to say that I needed to say. I'm going to do a real quick look at some of your comments. There's like thousands of them, so I won't be able to answer them all, but the last couple I might be able to catch. Again, you guys on Twitter, awesome. I've been broadcasting live on Twitter here recently, the last few runs, testing it out, and that's been going pretty well, so that'll grow as the audience picks up on that. Most of you guys are on Facebook, which I understand because it seems to be easier for watching video. A lot of you need to get on my YouTube channel, though. It also sends notifications if you tap the bell, and since Facebook doesn't always tell you when I go live, here let me give you some examples. All right, so this is what you want to do. Seriously, this is what you want to do. And you want to follow me on all three. And I'll tell you why. There's method of this madness. Follow me on Facebook, you always do. Follow me on YouTube, tap the bell. Follow me on Twitter, tap the notification deal too. Because between the three, one of them is bound to notify you when I go live. Because not each one will do it all the time. So you're playing an odds game. You're playing Vegas betting odds in your favor. You're going to bet against the house, and you're going to win against the house if you do it this manner. That's your best shot. And if you really want to add one more final, stick it to the man, become a Facebook fan subscriber or on Patreon, and I'll give you access to my private group Facebook page for my weather for AT's patrons, and then you get notified on that group page. So, and that does better than the fan page on notifications. So that's the best way to go, because the algorithms and the AI is set to where it's not going to always give you what you want, even though that we're all trained at this day and age to get what we want. We want it now. It doesn't work that way, because it has to time its dopamine release to your brain. And so that's why you don't always get your notifications from other people that you follow or other things that you're interested in. Because if they gave it to you all the time, your phone would just constantly blowing up. And if it starts blowing up like this every 5 seconds, A, you're going to delete the app, or B, you're going to start ignoring it. And you've lost the dopamine high, therefore you don't care about the product. Remember, Facebook is a product, but in reverse. In other words, you're the product, and Facebook is using you. I know, sad state of affairs. But we're all using each other together, so, how it kind of works out for now. But there's some inside jargon on how social media works, in case you didn't know. Mine as a creator, content creator, I got to learn all that stuff, and it's daunting. And I have to find ways to work around it to reach you, because you guys are all scattered. Because everybody likes their own different platforms for different reasons, which I get. Okay, well, that's it for me. I'm going to quick look here at some of the comments, and then I'm going to turn you guys loose. If you want to hang in here, and if you had any questions for me earlier, you're going to have to re-send them, because I wouldn't be able to see them while I was looking at all the maps. John Wright, my dogs, thank you. You're welcome, buddy. I wish you guys in Dallas could get some more, significant snow out of this event, but it's not going to happen this time around. All right, you're welcome. Let's see, who is this? This is Out of Place Lib on Twitter. You're quite welcome. All right, let's go to my Facebook page on the patron side. Scroll through you guys' comments here real quick. Let's see. Give me a second to quickly scan through. And you talk about multitasking, guys. This is a nightmare. Let's see. Some political comments on here. You know what? I totally missed the State of the Union. I was at the gym, and then I had to look at the forecast. So my time was spent helping you guys. So I'm sure it was good report card. I know my 401k's up. That's what I know. right, let's see. Keep on going. Yeah, you guys will have enough for a snowman, Sharon. Yeah, there's plenty. Some of you might have to build a sleep man, but especially south and east if you go too far, because the snow will be a lot less. But you'll at least you have a sleep man, so it's consolidation prize, I guess. All right, let me go to the main Facebook page real quick. Scroll through. I can only skim through the last about 50 comments, and after that they get truncated. Let's see what. Boy, they go by fast too. I cannot read that fast, but I'm trying. Mitch, is this another swing and a miss from forecasters? I don't think so. I mentioned this last Friday that snow was coming, so snow's still coming. I mentioned where the primary focus was, which was just about along and south of I-44. That's still there. Mentioned that we're probably going to get a few inches of snow. That's still happening. And the only addition was just to throw in more sleet here closer to the metro than before, whereas we kind of kept it more in parts of southeast Oklahoma. So that'd be the only really significant change. So, and I don't know what everybody else says, but that's been my forecast trend. So, Days jumping in, it says it also stops notifying if you repeatedly don't go watch right when you're notified. Ooh, another good tip. Day is a social media queen. She is on top of it. She's got her own audience and she rocks it. She chimes in with me every now and then, gives me some helpful hints. She's very knowledgeable in that. Tell you what, the content creators got to band together to learn all this stuff, and they keep changing the rules. Oh, it's so frustrating. Like my app got dinged the other day from Google, and they wouldn't even tell me why. Some vague, cryptic nonsense. So I had to go and fix some code and then re-upload it. Once I took a week to figure out what it was. I'm telling you, some choice words I can use for Google and sometimes Facebook. But when you sign a deal with the devil, you got to play by the devil's terms. All right, let me go on back down here. By the way, if you're late to the party, that's what LTTP is. Jeremy wants a shout out. You got it. Jeremy Late. Holla. It's your boy. You're going to have to watch the replay, which I'm going to stop this here in a second, and you can check that out. Timothy already wants the long-range outlook. There's another storm system on the horizon, I think about a week or so, but let's just get through tomorrow's. Oh, John, that's hilarious. Tahlequah. Oh, Jen. You're still going to get some winter weather. Tell you what, you just be happy with whatever you get when you wake up in the morning. How's that sound? Because you're going to get a mixture. Let's see. Arrived a little late. Oh, Nate. Yes, Nate. It's still going to get some snow down there. Is it possible that the warm layer rose faster than models think? Matt wants to know. Oh, anything's possible. I can tell you, though, 9 times out of 10, typically, the warm layer hangs in there longer than the models think, 1. 2, the warm layer actually shows up and the models never thought it was going to be there. Those are usually the two gremlins in our winter weather precipitation type forecasts. And that's what usually can really hose things. Remember I showed you that graphic earlier? If that warm nose is too thick, it just comes out as rain, man. It's, and then if it's really, really warm, it can sometimes warm the air below it. And so you may be like at a critical 31 degrees or something like that at the surface. And it actually warms up to 32, then 33 degrees really quickly because of the rain. And that can mess up a forecast. There's so many things that can mess up a forecast, guys. You have no idea. All you know at the end of the day is, did you get your 6 inches of snow? And if you didn't, hell hath no fury. So it's comical. Nothing yet in Oklahoma City near the state capitol. Yep, you good for now. Joni, my Facebook won't load the video. Well, you need to hit the refresh button or use a different browser. And if you're on your app on your phone, you might need to update your phone, your operating system, and or the app itself. Oh yeah, Robert, you can still use the app. It was just off the Google Play Store there for a couple of days while I got that figured out. Let's see. Jennifer, Jim tomorrow morning in Jinx. That would be an interesting deal. Sure. How early you want to go out? About 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning? All you. Go for it. You're going to need to check out the radar, though, when you wake up to see if it's already moving in to your area. Because it's going to be close, because I don't know when you're going to get up and go to the gym. But odds are it'll beat you. Let's see. How much longer till tornado season, Kimberly? Oh, good grief. We got a whole nother month for that. Usually start about mid-March on average. Jen, will we see a steady warm-up after this? Yes. But we're in a cold pattern though overall. So that's just, I'm talking about this week. Man, this last weekend, oh, so nice. I wish we could have a weekend like that every winter, and then during the middle of the week we have the Snowmageddon. So some of us get to get off work, and the kids get to get off school. Oh, in a perfect world. El Reno wants snow. Wes? No, El Reno wants no snow. Just for that, you get snow. Bethel Lakers, Tina? Yep, you get some snow. Let's see, let's keep on going. Man, you guys are just loaded tonight. Da-da-da-da. Chicken and waffles or pancakes and eggs? You know what? I'm burned out on eggs. Let's go chicken and waffles. When we have dry weather. When we have dry weather? We just had dry weather. Who asked me that? Heather, come on now. Is it likely that Bartlesville will cancel school? They hadn't canceled it already? Oh, man, half of central Oklahoma's already panicked. They already shut stuff down at 3 o'clock this afternoon. They didn't waste any time. Let's see. 8:30 gym session. Okay, that's gotcha. No, you're not going to make that. If you do, it might change between the time you get in there and the time you leave. Better make it quick. Science behind everything happening on the I-44. Jason, you want me to recap? That was about 20 minutes ago. Enid area, some snow. Not a whole lot, probably about an inch. If you're lucky, 1.5 inches. If you're really lucky, 2 inches in Enid. That's possible. What about Mustang? Yeah, it's cold. And it'll be wet. And wet in the form of snow. Stillwater. Yep, some snow for you guys. Let's see. Keep on going. And it will be a bacon and eggs morning. Now that's what I'm talking about. You haven't had bacon in a long time. What about a flight out to Oklahoma City? John, what? What are you doing here in Oklahoma City? I thought you're out there in God's country on the West Coast. What about 1:30 flight? The first wave will be over. So at that point, it'll just be, did they have time to kind of clear off the runways or at least keep them clear? Sleet's hard to clear, so I'm going to say you might have a problem. That's just my guess. I'd love to tell everybody specific snow forecast, but remember, it doesn't really matter what I tell you because it's not going to happen. Not like you want it to happen. In other words, if I could tell you to get 4.25 inches of snow, I'd tell you that, and you'd be ecstatic. What I will tell you, though, is you'll probably get a couple inches, 3 or 4, and you guess what? You're still going to be happy. You don't have to know the exact amount. What is cute, though, and cute meaning, I don't know, probably a hat tip to the science, is that we've gotten so good, for the most part, on most forecasts, that you guys actually expect these hyper-local, we call hyper-local news consultation business, forecasts, to where you literally want your backyard and you want everything down to the most minuscule measurable amount, and it's cute because it can't happen, but we do it anyway because you want it, and so we just stretch the science and throw in a little showmanship and a little bit of luck and a little bit of skill, and there you go, you got your 10 o'clock newscast. I need to write a book. Let's see. How do you think the roads in Oklahoma City will be at 6 a.m.? Chris, I think they'll be troublesome. Robert and a few of you others want to know if the FAA will be closed. They better. Because I don't want to drive there, turn around just to drive back. That's usually how it goes. But since the precipitation will start early, by 3 o'clock in the morning, they get up at 4:30 to make the call. So they're going to call it. I got money on it. They're going to call it. Jared, I know, buddy. You're going to have to wait till the next storm system. No such luck for Dallas this time around. All right, listen. I got to run. You guys have been great. It is, 30 minutes into this bad boy. All right, I got out of here, but thanks again for watching, following, all that stuff. Remember what I told you earlier. Like and share, comment, tap the video if you're on your mobile device to get the information on this broadcast as far as where you can get access to my website, where you can follow me on various other platforms, where you can become a Facebook fan supporter. You can join Patreon, Subscribestar, whatever. I've got some T-shirts and hoodies on there, all kinds of stuff. So that'll help you out. And the website itself will have all the road conditions, power outages, those little weather reports. So plenty of stuff out there to keep you busy. All right, well, you guys have a good night, and I will check in with you tomorrow. So we'll see how it shapes up in the morning. I do plan on going to bed, and I'll probably sleep in. And when I wake up, whatever's out the window is what I got. And then I'll do a live at some point, and then we'll go from there. By the way, if you get some cool pictures or video, post them on your social media accounts, and make it, like a public post, so it's not a private, friends only. So it can be Twitter, it can be Facebook, it can be Instagram, and do like a hashtag AT's weather, and then it'll show up on my website, which would be pretty cool to see. 'Cause it'll be like a collage of all you guys' posts all in one place. Because a lot of times on Facebook, you can post them like on a thread. I can do like one deal and say, hey, post all your pictures underneath this comment section. But it's cool to have them all like on one big collage. You can see them all at once. So that's the idea with that little method I've been trying. So do me a favor, if you get a chance, snap it and tag it. Ooh, I like that line. Snap it and tag it. AT's weather. Bam. Every now and then I come up with something. I'm getting goofy. All right, you guys have a great night. We'll talk soon. Bye.